This is TWiT.
Let's start with Elon, because this was pretty hysterical, but it's over. So it's kind of like...
Yeah.
So Elon, it started in the Super Bowl because Elon was at the Super Bowl sitting next to Rupert Murdoch eating a hot dog. Okay. But you remember from last week the conversation that Elon had with a Twitter engineer who's since been named, in which Elon said, well, why is my engagement on Twitter going away? To which the engineer producing the papers, by the way, said, well, look at your Google search results. You're much less interested in you since it's gone down to 110% or something. To which Elon replied, you're fired. You're out of here. That's not the answer I wanted to hear. So we found out what the answer was that Elon wanted to hear. And, of course, the only people left at Twitter now are people who are mostly spending their time trying to figure out what Elon wants so they can immediately... Sycophants. So that they can immediately implement it. So, and of course, Zoe Schiffer and Casey Newton at Platformer got the story. They were the ones with the story about the engineer who got fired immediately. So Elon flies home from the Super Bowl in his jet, which we know about because of Elon Jet Tracker on Mastodon. And at 2 a.m. on Monday morning, the next morning after the Super Bowl, his cousin James sends out an urgent message, 2 a.m. on Slack. We are debugging an issue with engagement across the platform.
Did he put that in air quotes?
Yeah, engage. He tags it at here, which means anybody who's on Slack at that time, at 2:36 a.m. Monday morning, will see it. Any people who can make, this is so sad, any people who can make dashboards and write software, please, can you help solve this problem? This is high urgency. If you're willing to help out, please thumbs up this post.
Drop whatever work you're doing that helps users and address Elon's
ego.
Attention
Massage
problem.
my ego for a minute.
Yeah. So it turns out that the precipitating factor was Elon Musk's tweet about the Super Bowl got far less engagement than President Biden's. How dare he?
Wonder why.
Biden's tweet, in which he said he would be supporting his wife in rooting for the Philadelphia Eagles, generated 29 million impressions. Musk, also tweeting his support for the Eagles, generated 9 million impressions. Before deleting the tweet in apparent frustration, writes Schiffer. Now, the Eagles lost, so it didn't really matter, but it really pissed off.
It mattered to Elon.
It pissed off Elon that the president of the United States would get more engagement than him. How dare he?
Well, I guess he's like, you know what, Twitter, this is my backyard. This is my house.
He proved it.
I should,
he proved
get
it.
all of the love here.
By the way, the people he fired over this last week were principal engineers. One of the two remaining principal engineers at the company was fired. So there's one left.
Yeah.
Late Sunday night, Musk addressed his team in person. 80 people. Remember, there aren't that many there still. Were pulled into work on the project, which had quickly become priority number one at the company. Employees worked through the night, investigating various hypotheses about why Musk's tweets aren't reaching as many people as he thought they should, and testing out possible solutions. Now, admittedly, this is hard because it's hard to know. There's a lot of pieces involved here. One possibility, engineers said, was that Musk's reach might have been reduced because he'd been blocked and muted by so many people in recent months. I'm sure that engineer did not tell Elon that. Let's see. There were also legitimate technical reasons the tweets weren't performing. Twitter's system has historically promoted tweets from users whose posts perform better to both followers and non-followers. In the For You tab, Musk's tweets, writes the platformer, should have fit that model, but showed up less only about half the time that some engineers thought they should, according to some internal estimates. By Monday afternoon, and now we're getting back to the air quotes, the problem had been fixed. Twitter deployed code to automatically greenlight all of Musk's tweets. Actually, it's probably a fairly simple fix. meaning his tweets bypass all those filters designed to show people the best content. The algorithm now artificially boosted Musk's tweets by a factor of 1,000, a constant score that ensured his tweets rank higher than anyone else's in the feed.
How much? That only cost him how many billions?
$44 billion.
$44 billion.
Internally, This is called a power user multiplier, although it only applies to Elon Musk, we're told. I'm still reading from Casey and Zoe's platformer. The code also allows Musk's account to bypass Twitter heuristics that would otherwise prevent a single account from flooding the core ranked feed, now known as For You. And, of course, the first thing I get up Monday morning, I see all these people tweeting, posting, saying, I got nothing but Musk in my For You feed.
Wow.
And some of the
That's
Musk...
a good show title, Nothing But Musk. Anyway, I'm sorry.
Some of the tweets, there was one where a woman is holding the hair of another woman and forcing her to drink milk that looked vaguely pornographic. They were weird. They were creepy. That's when he posted that as an acknowledgement. It's apparently the forced to drink milk meme.
Wait, so I couldn't avoid him now if I were on Twitter?
It's been fixed since, because I asked Lisa, who doesn't follow Elon. See, if you followed him, maybe you would say, well, I follow him, but she doesn't follow him. People who didn't follow him were getting it. The For You feed is not just people you follow. It's whatever algorithmically is promoted.
Right.
What they've done, as far as I can tell, is they've dialed down his advantage somewhat to the point where it's not so ridiculous. It's just kind of ridiculous.
The artificial...
So he's still by far the most... Yes. So they have an internal score, which I believe maxes out at 1,000.
Yeah.
And they had him at 1,000.
They had him at 1,000.
So I think that they dialed him down to 930 or something. I'm making this up, but my point is that they just backed off on it a bit. He's still the most prioritized user. And if you think about, I think one of the biggest reasons is that a lot of people who used to follow him, used to comment, used to like his stuff, now blocked him.
Right.
I count myself among those numbers. And that's not the case for somebody like, say, President Biden. The people who support Biden would follow him and haven't blocked him. So what they're doing is they're sort of prioritizing him back through that. However, if you block Musk, and I recommend that everyone does, then you won't see his stuff. Right? The block still is affected, but he's still, I think he's still going to have higher priority than anyone else on the system.
So I'm just looking through For You now. I believe I do follow Musk. I don't use Twitter that much, and I don't see any Musk. So I think oh, there's some Musk.
I don't think he's tweeted recently.
Yeah, maybe that.
His activity.
Maybe that's it. So clearly he was, that must have been a little bit embarrassing, especially once people learned what was going on, that he was actually using his clout as owner of the site. Why do people still use Twitter when they know that the owner of the site could do something like that? That's beyond me. But people don't want to leave it, I guess.
I learned that lesson when I was making war against Facebook. People just don't care.
They don't care.
They just don't care. And they want to interact with the people that they interact with, and all that other stuff is just a background noise to a lot of people.
The bottle feeding tweet got 118.4 million impressions. The next one, previously posted to Reddit and satirically attributed to Abraham Lincoln, got 49.9 million. But this is compared to previous tweets from months earlier, which had fewer than 8 million. So there is some boosting still going on. I don't honestly care that much about this, but it is, let's face it, all of the lip service he paid to making Twitter fair, balanced, the public square and all that stuff, that's all BS. When it comes,
did anyone actually believe that?
Well, maybe some people did. So now they have reason
now they know.
Not to.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's mostly doing the things that he accused the old Twitter of doing.
Right.
That they were or were not doing it. They were certainly doing it to a lesser degree than Musk is now. But he's basically doing what he accused Twitter of doing.
At no point did Jack Dorsey own my latest tweets feed.
Right.
Not to the degree that Elon did. It's better now. So a lot of people went on there yesterday and said, well, I don't see what you're talking about. Lisa did. She said, well, I don't see a lot of Elon. But I do remember on Monday, it was all Elon all the time. It really was out of control. So
I haven't really opened it up in a while, and I'm glad that I'm now looking at it, and it's not as much depressing stuff on here when I look at For You.
I don't honestly want to support whatever's going on over there, so I try not to go look at it. I look at it only because of stories like this. So it's good for Elon, right? Is to get people over there looking at not the one you're showing, but stories like the one we just said, because so in that respect, is Elon probably going, see, our engagement's up. It's good for us. Roiling the water like this.
All right.
I don't want to support it, honestly. I really don't. But that's okay. Everybody's more than welcome to. What do you?
Is that considered gaslighting? I don't know that phrase. What he's doing. Is it gaslighting?
Oh, no, he's not gaslighting. He's just being a narcissist. Gaslighting is when you tell someone the opposite of what's true.
So it's when you try to make someone feel like they're crazy.
Yeah, that they're wrong. So
it's telling them that something that they're observing and know to be true is not. It comes from an old movie called Gaslight.
Anson, you should watch it. It's like a husband is gaslighting his wife, and she thinks she's just losing her mind. He's just doing it on purpose. So he says the lights are. She says the lights are flickering. He says, "What do you mean? No, the lights aren't flickering."
What movie is this?
Gaslight.
Gaslight.
You would not. Trust me. Don't watch it. It's not your movie. I can tell.
Hey, the last one you recommended,
it's the feel-good movie of the year.
That was a good movie.
The year 1938.
Yeah. MGM's
there are movies
melodrama.
People know that you'll like, and then there are movies people will be like, maybe not for you.
Yeah, maybe not.
Charles Boyer, Ingrid Bergman, Joseph Cotton. Yeah,
he is yet another narcissist. I always go off on narcissists whenever I'm on TWiT and Twig, but it's just no need to repeat all that. But he's a narcissist of the highest order, and I think the next I'm predicting that the next thing he'll do is he'll have a somewhat normal status on the system of algorithmic sorting, but he'll have a switch where he'll be able to throw a switch and say this one's going to everybody. So when he really wants to be influential. And then the next step after that is he's going to have his minions following him around in North Korean army uniforms, writing down everything he says.
I think
I hope this doesn't turn into the point of him being able to bypass the block option that people set.
Oh, he can bypass that. Option. Of course he can.
I hope it doesn't come to that.
Well, that's what For You does. You see, so I believe that even if you'd blocked Elon, you would have seen him in the For You feed. Or am I wrong, Mike? Is that?
I have him muted, and I don't see him in mine at all.
I think he's if you block him, the block will work, and you won't see him. But I think that the problem that he has is something we grapple with in the print media and the written word media a lot, which is the quality of audience. You can have numbers of audience that are not good quality. They're not paying attention. They don't care that much. If you're a product-oriented publication, they might be the type of people who never buy anything. The audience quality is everything. And he's such an amateur to the world of media and of content that he doesn't really care. He's always saying, oh, look at the engagements way up. Yeah, what's happening is the racists, the trolls, the haters, the losers, the bots, the propagandists, all those are really active on Twitter now. And the numbers are probably higher, but that's not going to drive advertising revenue. That's not going to drive enough money through Twitter Blue subscribers to fund the company. And what he's really doing with all these things is every time he does some idiotic thing like this, he drives away another 50,000 quality users. Something like, I forgot what the number was, but a vast majority of tweets used to be done by a tiny minority of users. The Twitterati, so 5-10% of the people used to do 80-90% of the tweets, right? You drive away those people, and what you have is a lot of low quality activity. It's a lot of activity, but it's low quality, and it's people who don't buy stuff. It's people who won't enable the network to survive financially.
Yeah, it's the difference between wanting to go to like a dinner party or just a good party versus hanging out in a public market.
Where they're throwing fish around.
Right. One is a place you'll go because you have to for whatever reason, or maybe you just choose not to go to it. The other is a place you actually want to spend your time. and
I still hear lots of people though saying there's no you can't duplicate that experience that you get on Twitter.
It's still, I mean, it's a public market that I still come to because I'm like, every now and then I do like run into my friends there.
Yeah.
But it's lost the dinner party. I want to spend time there.
If there are people who do Twitter because they won't give it up because they want to drive traffic to their blog or their podcast or whatever work they do, I would recommend that you go into the click on the little bar chart that shows you the details of each tweet and go through all the tweets that you posted where you were trying to drive traffic and look at the link clicks. Okay, those link clicks are probably inflated, but you'll be shocked if you don't normally pay attention to those at how low those are.
Yeah,
Twitter does not drive traffic, and if you're clinging on and selling your soul so you can drive traffic, I got news for you: you're not driving traffic.
If you love all things Android, well, I've got a show for you to check out. It's called All About Android, and I'll give you 3 guesses what we talk about. We talk about Android, the latest news, hardware, apps. We answer feedback. It's me, Jason Howell, Ron Richards, TWiT Dow, and a whole cast of awesome characters talking about the operating system that we love. You can find All About Android at twit.tv/AAA.